Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. I am excited. We're back again for another live chat here on Girl Talk. I have another special guest here with me today that I'm so excited for her to be here with me today. I have Dr. Ebony Johnson, y'all. She is awesome. She is my cousin, guys, and she's a Tulsa native. She does so many wonderful things for the community and plus the school system. I mean, just years of over 20 years of experience with the Tulsa Public Schools and just been an advocate for students and even students of color. I know a lot about that here in the group and just women and just a real boss, y'all. Like, and I've been so excited. I've been inspired by her since I was so um, she helped along with us as we were growing up, and she just continued to give inspiration to me and my siblings. And as you guys know, I have six other sisters, and each of us have been inspired by some of the things that she's done, especially my younger sister when she was a principal, I believe, at their school, just doing great things, just been a principal and has been an administrator for many, many years and has just a ton of experience. So I'm so excited to talk to her about this topic that we're talking about tonight, women in business and leadership roles and what they experience as being women. And she'll also talk to us a little bit toward the end about the COVID-19 pandemic and what the school is doing to keep our children safe and keep you as parents informed on everything you guys need to know about COVID-19. So we'll get right into it. Miss Ebony Johnson, do you want to go ahead and tell them a little bit about you if I missed anything?
It sounds as if you've covered it, Nora. I just appreciate so much you asking me to be on. I'm super excited about Girl Talk. I am a girl. I love to talk. So this is what's up. So I'm excited and honored to be asked to be on. And, I love my baby cousins. And so super proud of you, Nora, for launching this and the success you're having with it. But no, you didn't miss anything. I'm tried and true Tulsan and have been in education, as you stated, for over 20 years. And so I'm excited to be here and to learn and to listen as well.
Okay, me too. You know what I love? Three of you, Ebony, that is so good for me. I remember when you won, was it Miss Black Oklahoma?
Mhm.
You did not put that in your bio, but I wanted to bring it up. I was so inspired, y'all. I was like, well, I want to be a beauty queen, but Ebony was so gorgeous to me and still is.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you. That
and
was many years ago, many years ago.
her wedding and just being completely inspired by that wedding. How many years have you been married now?
Yes, 20 years this year.
Wow, oh yeah, because that was was it 99 or 2000?
It was 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, August the 5th. We just celebrated 20. So yes, everybody was all like little bitties. We were all like young and so now everybody's all grown, got children and
I know, crazy.
adult lives.
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
some really, like I said, just been constantly in our family. I would say that you've been breaking generational curses, just obviously putting this family on the map, doing wonderful things for the education system, and just really breaking barriers for our family as a whole. I feel like, and trailblazed and done some things that a lot of the women in the family were not able to accomplish. No shade to anybody, obviously, but we're so proud of the things that you've been able to accomplish and the people that you left to trailblaze with you and to lead in your path. And I've said this before to you in person many times, obviously, but just publicly, I want to say thank you for trailblazing for us, for making a way for women in our family and the women that have come into your circle, into your era, into your aura, and been able to pour into them selflessly that you've given of yourself and your service. And I was reading your LinkedIn and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's a really cool things. But today we're talking about women in business. What has been your experience as a leader? Have you experienced any type of discrimination or stereotypes? Or how hard has it been for you?
Well, I'll just say, Nora, thank you for the recognition as far as, what I've been able to accomplish as far as our family. And I'll just say that, I'm in agreement with you that several of us who are part of our younger generation of our family have been able to take things to the next level, like attain degrees and really see ourselves in a more down a more successful path. But I will say that if it were not for so many of the women in our family, our mothers, and our grandmother, our late grandmother, and so many others who truly rooted us in what it meant to, one, thrive, survive and thrive, and then even equipped us to be prepared for what the topic is today, which is to navigate, one of the topics, which is to navigate the workforce and what it means to face some things, some challenging moments, and even come across, stereotypical behaviors or discrimination. So in saying that, I do feel like, I have been equipped and girded up to know how to handle challenging situations, but I have had moments where I was taken back. It was when I was in college as the only African American in the classroom, or majoring in English education, the only one in that course of study for that particular class. So I didn't see a lot of people who looked like me, who came from the schools in which I came from, graduating from McLean, who decided to go into the field of education. And then English at that. And so I did come across, some pretty harsh behavior at times. I had a lot of support from the universities in which I attended, Northeastern State for my undergraduate, for both my undergraduate and my master's, and then the University of Oklahoma for my doctorate. But even in that support that I received, there was a small percentage of people who made it necessary to say things that were inappropriate, to try to treat me in a certain way that made me thought that they were making me feel less than, and to really try to continue to push this system of exclusivity, and just making sure that you feel ostracized or excluded or not enough or not worthy. And so and that you're in a Eurocentric situation, and so you have to find your way of how to get into that, and you had better tiptoe in, and we'll let you know how fast you need to go, how slow you need to go, and that kind of thing. So yes, I've encountered all of those things, but I will just say that it's really, I've taken on the philosophy of, it's not really what's done to you. When you get to a point where it's not what's done to you, it's how you react to what's done, then you find yourself in a very more grounded position to handle those kind of things, and to recognize it and get in front of it, and then to correct it.
Wow. You said so much in what you just said about, just really, it's not how you react. Because I think a lot of times people provoke you, and then when you react, you become the bad guy, right? You become
Oh, yeah.
the loud, ghetto, out of line type of person, and that stereotype is then, that self-fulfilling prophecy is then, at that point fulfilled, because they already assume this about you, and now I'm acting this way. And sometimes we just can't give them what they want. It sounds like what you said is that you went through a lot of that and really had to, kind of bite your tongue and really be the big guy. I know Michelle Obama talked about taking the high road. It sounds like that's exactly what you've done over your career, because I know it's not easy. How bad was that pressure as you began to, succeed and move through those accolades and continue to grow higher? How bad was that pressure for you?
Well, I'll say, Nora, there are times when, you do get to a point, and I'm mostly again referring to my undergraduate years, because I'm literally like super young, fresh out of high school. Not coming from a lot of generations of folks going into higher ed. At the time that I went to college, I think that I was the second person in our entire family to go and actually be closer to actually completing a degree. So Michael, our cousin, was the first. And so we didn't have a lot of folks to rally around to like help us through that experience. And so when you get in there, you almost like you're trying to figure out, like, again, who are you? You come from North Tulsa, you come from, a very dismal, situation with a lot of love from family. Let me make sure I say that. But then also just a lot of lack of resource as well. So, you're trying to almost figure out your level of assimilation into a whole new environment. So you got that coupled with people who want to make sure that you know where you stand and your place in their mind. So I'll be honest, I've never understood what it meant to bite my tongue. So I've just learned how to articulate and to hear, react, and articulate in a way that lets that person know that that's not okay. And
Right.
yeah, and it doesn't take me to lose it to let you know that. But I'm just telling you right now, that's not okay and that needs to be dealt with. And so I've always had that in me, but it hasn't always been easy. The situations get uncomfortable. And but you just have to be strong. Now, as far as my working conditions, I'll just say that I have been blessed with the opportunity to be in the education system where I've been so hard pressed to see young people make it and to put in resources and supports and love into situations with young people that I haven't had as much to deal with in that arena as far as, discrimination and stereotypical behaviors. I've mostly worked within high needs urban school environments. So I haven't had as much. However, I have had teachers that don't necessarily look like me, that I've had to truly work through some cultural differences with, and had to make sure that it was understood by the teacher or by the staff member, that we are to respect each other,
Right.
and we are to respect each other's backgrounds and each other's plight and each other's experience and each other's expertise. Yeah.
Right. That's so good. And I think as people of color, a lot of times you go into those environments and people are just not used to seeing you in that role. And so you kind of have to teach people how to treat you. And I think they can
Yes.
spill over into every aspect of your life, not just even in the job force, but everywhere you go. I think you need to teach people how to treat you because they will eventually mistreat you. It seems to go that way. I either show
Hmm.
respect or you're gonna mistreat me. And so like I
That's right.
experienced a lot of that, right? When I was in corporate America as well, just working and they would ask for the boss and I would show up and people would not expect me to show up and I would get different reactions, the looks, the what, the kind of like, I can't believe that that's who you sent for me, but you would still have the same, the equality of everyone else that's qualified for the job you do, but people don't expect that you would be qualified. So I know that you obviously have been in education and you've worked with different people in different environments and different backgrounds. Did you find yourself teaching any of those type of courses or leading that in any type of way throughout your career?
Yeah, so I've had the opportunity to do some culturally responsive, pedagogy and culturally responsive teaching practices for educators to know how to best relate to students of color.
Mhm.
I've also, of course, just being former principals of schools where there was a diverse population of teachers, have conducted my own level of like trainings and workshops on cultural relevancy and cultural appreciation, and just what it means to really understand various cultures, and then to then get into the deep level of appreciating various cultures. And so, yes, I have had the opportunity to do some of that type of training. And I'll say, at the heart of it, Nora, what I found was that when people realize that just like when they lose a family member, they cry, you cry too when you lose a family member.
Mhm.
Just like they have a moment of feeling embarrassed when they fall, when they wore those heels they shouldn't have worn out on the concrete,
Mhm.
you feel that same embarrassment. And so when you can get to that place where, you can make sure that they understand that that's how much we connect, humanistic connection, and
Mhm.
then the rest is just for appreciation and beauty, that we can understand and appreciate the various differences that we have. And so, but it's taken me a while to get here. And and so I've had my moments of like, what is really going on? Like, I know I just said that same thing that you made a decision to say right after I said it in a way that I guess they must understand better because they said it. I don't know. And so for me to make an articulated statement and then somebody to come back around and say, what I think I heard Ebony say is, and then everybody nods after that person says the exact same thing that I've said. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
sorry. Yeah, what is that about? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think I said it just the way it was supposed to be said, but because my pigment is different,
Yeah.
then someone else felt like they needed to restate it so it gets more validation.
Right. Let's talk
Hmm.
about that validation. That's a really good word, and it's taking me into exactly what, like where I want to go is because people seem not to validate you when you're a woman and you're black. So those are two stereotypes that we possess as being females, and then being a person of color. So you have two
Hmm.
stereotypes or two things I feel like working against you, even though people don't see it that way because they're not black or they're not woman. They may not see those stereotypes exist, but they exist and they're heavy. They weigh down heavy. I was looking at some things today, some statistics as I was gathering some info for this talk today, and it said that women that are paid I think the number was 92%. 92% less than men, which is crazy because I can do the same job you do and get paid a lot less from what you do. And this is outside of being a person of color. We haven't even gotten to that. We're just talking about gender disparity right now. So if I'm doing the same exact job as you, showing up at 7 a.m. and leaving at 3, we're doing the same thing, if not more, because we're dealing with children as well. We get paid less. Has that happened to you? Have you experienced that?
Yeah, I've come across that a couple of times, but I will say this. Um, so those kind of things have happened in my past more so than what's happening in my present. I'll say that it really depends on the administration in which you either work for in the school system, and or I would say a CEO or CFO,
Mhm.
chief financial officer in corporate, but it's definitely real. And the reason that it's not happening as much now is because I happen to work with a group of individuals, going from my top leadership as my superintendent all the way to all of the chiefs that I work alongside, who are really about what it means to get equity, put it out there, get it on the table, figure out what we need to do, and make sure that everything is equitable across the board. And so it's not perfect, and there's room for improvement, but I haven't had to deal with it as much as I have in the past under my new role in administration. I'll put it that way. But it's definitely a real thing. It happens all over the country, all over the world, and it's not okay. And in many instances, it's very defeating for women to go through those kind of things, because you are literally, in many cases, not only are you doing the job, but you're doing the job extremely well.
Right.
And then on top of that, many times you actually may have a family that you're navigating. You have other responsibilities that you're responsible for taking care of, and you have to be on 110% when you get on the job. And so it's a lot of stress and pressure to hold it all down. And then your money is messed up.
Yeah, exactly. So
Mhm.
still not being
Mhm.
compensated properly for the job I'm doing, and I'm missing out on family time. I'm away from, children and
Absolutely.
the gender role of being the person that needs to cook, clean, care for the children is still pressing in on you on top of the job roles that people have told you, hey, you're not qualified, but I'm going to prove them wrong. So I'm dealing with the pressure. And I think
Oh, yeah.
collateral damage from that is the mental health breakdown that we're seeing in women, the women that are 45 having heart attacks. And just coupled with that, being a person of color who's also
Mhm.
discriminated against readily in the job force. Obviously, for being a person of color, you may get looked over for promotions and be, different
Mhm.
things like that are occurring, or a woman. So what is your concern or thought when it comes to the mental health breakdown and the physical health breakdown of women when it comes to the pressure that we are feeling in the workforce and as professionals?
Yeah, so you're right on, Nora, in that mental health is a really critical piece of it's destroying a lot of our families. It's destroying a lot of people who don't seek out and get the help that they need. One, others to even recognize that they need help, because sometimes it's hard for an individual to see the kind of help that they need, but for others to then step up and say, you know what, I really do think you need to get some help for this. I'm really seeing some things in you. And then for that person to then go and get the help, it's really difficult. And I'll say that it's a slow, unfortunate process when people are experiencing that kind of depression and mood swing and hurt, and just it's a cycle of things that you're trying to wrestle with, and then try to find your own way in the middle of that, of like, okay, what am I going to do for a profession? How am I going to handle being a mother? How am I going to handle all of the complexities of life in general? Oh yeah, and we're in a pandemic. Oh, and and in your case, Nora, I have small children who I have to protect from the pandemic. Oh, and I protect myself, and in my case, I have a mother who, has some pre-existing conditions. So I can't be around my mother as much as I would love to, in fear of making sure, in hopes that I don't get her ill. So there's so many things that can weigh on you and then contribute to any mental health issues that you would have had already, or start some mental health issues just due to everything that's going on. My recommendation would be to, one, acknowledge that all of us are going through some level of mental need right now,
Exactly.
because we're all wrestling with some things we've never had to deal with before. We've never had to face this level of dysfunctional leadership in the White House. We've never had to, face this level of catastrophe and disasters happen over and over and over again. That's happening in our nation. This level of just blatant racism that we're now catching on camera. Now, it's always been around,
Yeah.
and brutality has always, unfortunately, been an unfortunate marker in our nation, in the past. But we're seeing it in black and white and in color now more than we've ever in the past. So it's all playing a part in, especially people of color, how we are handling this. And in my case, I have a son, so it makes me think a lot about him and his interaction with police. So there's a lot of things. My recommendation would be, though, to acknowledge that all these things are happening, but then find your peace,
Yeah.
find your peaceful place, and that's being surrounded by family who can make you laugh and make you cry and make you think about things and make you love life. Get around your family. If it's not your family, find those close friends who are like family. If it's not any of that, if you're a believer, and like I know the two of us are, you go to your God and you give it to Him and you pray, and so you find what's going to get you through this. You almost have to incubate yourself around people and things that are going to keep you moving and keep you healthy.
Right.
Because if not, we're all struggling right now
Yeah.
with mental health.
Absolutely. That's so good. I like what you said, getting around people and to center yourself, and because it's just not a peaceful world that we live in right now with all the things going on, whether it's the racial disparities, the COVID-19 pandemic taking us down, you know,
Yes.
election year that we're in. It's been probably the most controversial election year that I've ever seen in my lifetime, obviously.
Yes.
And obviously we had the first African American president, and that was more of a upside for us, and we enjoyed that. But this seems to be very, mentally disturbing to me. Some of the things that I've been seeing, and then to couple that with the topic we're talking about right now, to just be in competition with everyone on a daily basis that you didn't initiate. This
Oh yeah.
your co-workers, and sometimes as a boss or a leader you're stuck in a really awkward place because you have your the people that you are meant to lead are out to get you and to destroy you, and then you'll have people above you that won't promote you and won't respect you because of who you are. So you're kind of caught in the middle of trying to find a safe place for yourself mentally
Mhm.
and emotionally and professionally. um
Mhm.
I walked away from my corporate career because of that pressure, and not all of that. I was, ultimately I did have a dream to pursue Girl Talk, but that kind of plummeted me out the door because I didn't fit as a mother to in that corporate America. I didn't fit with two babies and the daycare situation and all the
Yeah.
that come with mothering kids, and how corporate America doesn't bend to you as a female. They expect you to stay straight faced and stone faced and don't have any emotions, or don't go to doctor's appointments, don't do this and that. And I know sometimes kids grow up and we get far off from those young years, but when you're in those years, you in the trenches that I talked about.
Mhm.
I was talking to your sister the other day, and we were talking about those years in the trenches, and she was telling me and giving me some good advice, and I took it. I ran with
Yeah.
it. And as a mom and being a boss at the same time, it gets very hairy. How did you make it? How did you manage through those years as a young mom, and being in
Yeah.
America and being in leadership roles?
Yeah, and Nora, I would honestly say that I'm not saying that there's a major difference between the educational world of, the hierarchy of like moving up in education versus corporate. I just will say that just in the nature of taking care of students,
Uh-huh.
there's a more of a welcoming of support for mothers who are attempting to navigate like lesson planning or principals meetings or those kind of things. There was a lot more grace given and a lot more empathy and support in education versus more of the corporate side of
Yeah.
things and the business side of things. So I can say there is a distinct difference there as far as my experience, but even in that though, I'll say that it's really about you finding yourself in a very healthy state of mind so that you can be healthy for your children, your spouse, and the people around you that you love. And if you're in a situation where you feel closed in and you feel suffocated out of what you're supposed to be about as far as your work and like your profession, your job, then you do have to do what's best for you and your family, because those opportunities, if you still want them, especially when you're young, will be there. And so you do have to take care of you in the moment. But I'll just say that as far as, some of the things I've had to wrestle with, um, it's been a journey because, you're literally coming from a world where I didn't really have a lot of I didn't have a lot of tools in my tool belt on how to navigate people who are going to talk to me a certain way
Right.
or to treat me a certain way based on my race or my gender. So you have to almost be quick on your feet right then when it takes place. And then sometimes you're not ready for it. So you have to process it. You have to mourn. You have to be sad about it and figure it out. And then you have to come back renewed and try to navigate like where you are in that and how you still gonna stand firm and you still gonna do you and you're not gonna lose yourself in it. And
Mm.
so so that's a lot of it, and it's hard. And so and just knowing this too, that to come home when my kids were little, when my kids were babies and when they began to grow, and I was literally working on, I went from the master's degree, got that. Well, then shortly after, some years later, I decided, okay, I do want to have another child. I want to have a second child, and I also want to work on my doctorate degree. So trying to navigate, marriage and already having a child, and then, being pregnant with my second child and trying to complete a degree, the hardest degree, which is my EDD. Um, some days, honestly, Nora, I'll keep asking myself, what am I doing? What am I, what am I trying to do here? And then I was dead set on making straight A's. And so just making myself nuts. And so, but I will say that in that I grew stronger. I relied on family. Family stepped up and supported and loved me through it. Appreciative of my husband for being my rock, and just believing in my dreams and being that wind behind my wings, and just looking at my kids and going, I'm doing this because I know that I want you to have a certain lifestyle. I'm doing this because I know I want you to see me as someone who is about the business and who is about the work and who loves and have passion for what I do. I want you to see me as someone who didn't decide to stop, but kept trying and wanting to attain more so that we can live in a comfortable space where, some of the things that I had to grow up and handle and deal with, and no fault of no one, because it's made me who I am. But I don't want my kids, I want them to have a different struggle, not that kind of struggle.
Right.
So so yeah, so when you think about it in that light, you're like, all right, I'm ready. I'm like, come on with it. What you got? What you gonna say? Yeah,
Right.
because anything you say cannot take, it's nothing for what I've been through.
Yeah.
So, and I done made it through that. So then what you got? You got a comment? You got a statement? What you got? Yeah,
Right.
I'm
It,
ready.
I think you get to that point where those things don't bother you, and
Hmm.
they kind of go over your head because you see the purpose. You get clarity. I was talking last week with someone, and we were talking about clarity. We were talking about once you get that goal in your mind and you know what you're gonna do, you understand that everybody in between that is just an attack from the enemy. That's just the
Straight up.
And my mama used to say that, there ain't nobody but the devil. That's just the devil trying to get you off your tilter. It may be a person physically there, but that ain't nobody but the devil, because the devil can use anybody. He goes to and forth seeking who he can devour.
That's
He'll
right.
use anybody. He'll use your kids sometime against you to get you all riled up. You don't never know what's going to happen in the day, but I think when you have clarity and you understand your goal and you know what you're getting after, none of that can stop you. Not discrimination, not the stereotypes that people give.
That's right.
None of that stops you or tears you from doing what you do. Obviously, you a testimony to that and a testament of that with all the success that you have and the places that you've been. Talk to the ladies a little bit about just give them some advice on what they should be doing if they're navigating this tough time in their lives and they're being discriminated against and they're being pulled down because of their sex or maybe because of their race or things like that that they may be facing.
Yeah, my recommendation would be, one, don't act like it's not happening. So don't try to like, oh, I just need to keep this job and I just need to ignore it and just move on, even though I know that they're purposefully designing this system in this little room right here, or this cubicle area right here, or this office space right here for me not to feel comfortable or like I'm supposed to be here. Recognize that it's real, that it's happening, and also recognize that like you have some power in that. Like you can actually step into that space and still regain and attain your power in that. And so just begin to think about like, who are the critical key players that I need to communicate with about the fact that like, love my job, love what I do, but this is making me unlove my job. And I need to have some conversations in a way that people understand that this is not healthy and it's not okay. And be okay with having the conversations. Also, you go from conversations to then change. Like, okay, I've talked to you all about like what I'm seeing, what I'm experiencing, what I've been facing. Now I'm ready to see something make, change. And so stand flat-footed and firm on the change that you want to see. Find comfort in people that love you. Get you some critical friends, get you some critical family members that you can excel and talk to and confide in, and really make sure that they can hear you and understand and give you some advice and help you to navigate through it. And then don't be afraid to go talk to whoever is in charge. You have a right to talk to whoever is in charge. And sometimes, we've been made to feel like, we can't be, one, our authentic selves in any space, that we have to, be something else. And then two, you need to talk to about 15 people before you get to that top person. Why would you even try to go talk to them anyway? Let me just help you right on down here at this level. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you don't need to be going up there to go talk to them, because you're going to fool around and get fired. And I wouldn't even go, why do you want to go talk to the head boss? You just a this, or you just a that. You just a specialist. You're not an executive. And so I don't know. I'm sorry. As soon as you walk in them doors, you can go right to that administrative assistant and say, ma'am, sir, I need to set up an appointment with Mr. CEO or Mrs. CEO. Because one, I've had conversations and now I'm ready for change. And so just being empowered to get your voice back, but not in a way that you go in and misrepresent yourself.
Yeah.
So if you got emotion tied into it, that's problem number one. So you got to go and take care of that emotion with your family. That's when you go and you talk to them and you cry and you be upset and you go off and you, in my case, I roll my neck because I love to roll my neck, and I talk my trash and, all of that. And then when you go into your corporate setting, your work setting, then you've already left your emotion off the table. Now you're just talking facts.
Mm-hmm.
And so change comes when you're able to do it that way.
Yeah.
And because as women, they look at us as naturally emotional beings, and when we cloud what we're trying to say through a whole lot of emotion, then our message gets lost or it gets dismissed on purpose. So I'll just say, you go in there with a very matter of fact, like, here is what the situation is, and here is what I'm asking for. And then you expect change. And then when you don't see change, then you got to make a change.
Exactly. That's good. That part. That
That part.
yeah,
That part.
that part.
That part.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you this, Nora. One of the things that I've been so like inspired and on fire about in my most recent position. So I was promoted from an executive director of student and family support services to now the chief academic officer or the chief learning officer for Tulsa Public. And when I tell you, I literally have a superintendent who truly believes in, like, if you sitting at this table, you're sitting at this table because I need to hear your voice. If
Yeah.
you if you're sitting at this table, you're sitting at this table because I need your talent and your gifts to come. If you're sitting at this table, your voice matters. Your presence matters to me, and you have my undivided attention to bring that. And so that's inspired me to just want to take it to the next level. And as a female superintendent who happens to be white, I appreciate the fact that she sees what I'm able to bring to the table, and she encourages me to bring it, and encourages me to, like, call it out if something isn't right, put it on the table, be the voice for the voiceless. And so I'm inspired by that. And it makes me see things in a different light when it comes to how we relate to each other in different various cultures.
Yeah, I like that. I like when you have a boss that's for you or someone who's in leadership over you and they're for you. I think it makes you flourish and grow and you get to really be independent and be yourself. Because I mean, even those little nudges of encouragement to speak to talk your talk or say who you are or give your opinion or be able to do that. I think that's the safe environment that we all should be aiming for. And when you don't feel that or you don't get that, you should, like you said, stand up. Don't just sit back and be like, oh, it's happening, but I'm gonna act like it's not happening. Because I've been in that role before when I was younger where I was like, well, maybe if I don't talk about it, it'll go away. But really, it just gave people more and more permission to continue to crush you and continue to treat you more, actually like initiating it with the other people. Like, oh, okay, I seen Joe do that. So now Bill's doing it. And then the next thing you know, the whole office is doing it. So it just kind of gives people permission to discriminate against you. A lot of people are saying hi to you, Ebony, in the comments, and
I can't see anything.
I know you
Hi,
can, but
hi, I love y'all.
yeah, they sending you some hearts. One lady did ask though, is there a resource out there if you have been discriminated against in an educational setting? Is it a resource that she can reach out to or link up with?
As far as a resource on hand, I don't want to speak and give an incorrect resource, but what I can do, because I want to get you something really good, I'll do some more research and I'll get that back to Nora so she can post that. So that's a great question, and would love to even hear more. And so, if after this you could directly connect with Nora just to give her a little bit more information, I would love to talk with you offline a little bit more about the situation, and I'll get you a resource that'll work great for you.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So just inbox her. I think that's Bridget King. Just inbox her and she or me, inbox me and I'll get you some info from Miss Ebony. This has been so good. I love this. I hope women are empowered by what Ebony is saying tonight. Because I mean, she's spot on, ladies, what she's talking about as far as discrimination and just really finding your peace and your power within. I don't think anybody's going to hand this to you. This is something that you're going to have to do from within. She talks a lot about getting with family members and getting around people who love you. And if you are a Christian or a believer, to pray to God and ask God for clarity on the issue and what to say. Because sometimes you don't know what to say, so you don't say anything, or you're afraid that you're gonna come out and be what they said you were gonna be. I might handle that way too ghetto, so I'm chill. I know I've been in that situation where I'm like, okay, I'm about to go off on him and lose my job, and I got to pay my rent, so I'm gonna keep it quiet. I'm gonna leave John alone today, even though I want to cut John out. Whatever. So, and I've been there before, but I had to get older and I began to be able to articulate to people exactly how I was feeling. And something else
Oh yeah.
was counseling. I went to counseling. I went to therapy. I went and got some therapeutic advice about my feelings and what I was feeling. My therapist validated me and said, hey, Nora, you're not making this up. This is really happening to you. You're being discriminated against. So at that point, I knew I needed to do something. And that's when I began to act. I started calling for the meetings. I met with my boss. I talked to my
Nice.
180. I start speaking to people and say, hey, look, what you're doing is hurting me. I don't like this. This is not okay.
Nice.
And I'm not taking it anymore. And change began to happen. You know, I ended up leaving the company, but before I left, I'm gonna tell you, I was comfortable. People started moving for me. I got the leads that
Hmm.
I wanted for my pregnancy. The things that I needed were happening because I stood up for myself. So, like,
Nice.
silence is not the answer.
Right. And I'll tell you this, Nora, I'm so glad that you said that because one of the things that I want to also encourage women, especially women of color, is don't get into a corporate educational hierarchy situation where you lose who you are.
Mhm.
and and so always be one proud of your identity, who you are, where you've come from. I'll give you an example. The other day we had a meeting with my superintendent and the chiefs, and they asked, like, we had a morning minute, and we start talking about, like, okay, what did you do this weekend, and what did you do this weekend, and share about your morning minute. And I purposefully talked about how I'm so first of all, I gave recognition to Hispanic Heritage Month, and a pioneer in education, who paved the way for Brown versus Board of Education when she fought for a different court case in California. Blah blah blah. So I did all of that, which I felt really good about doing, and then I just went right into, oh, and another thing I did this weekend, I went to the laundromat. I talked to them about how, growing up, my mom and my sisters went to the laundromat all the time, and I was in the back seat reading a novel. It was every time we went, I was reading a new book. And
Yeah,
what I should have been doing is been in that laundry mat folding them clothes and learning how to wash. Okay, because now that my dryer is broken, I'm having to frequent the laundromat and figure out how to work the system. But in that, Nora, what I did, I made sure that they knew that I'm not ashamed of the fact that my mom made sure that my clothes were clean. And
exactly.
and my sisters helped her with that. And I also reminded myself of how I love literacy even back then, because I was in the back seat reading. And then also that even though, I'm in a position right now where I'm doing well for myself and my family, we still go to the laundromat if we need to. And so I'm not going to lose who I am just because I've got this chief in front of my name. And I'm also mindful of the fact that when I'm on my job, best believe anybody who wants to know, I can go from Save a Lot to Warehouse Market to Reese's at any point.
Yeah.
So it can go quickly from Save a Lot to Reese's. It just let me know what we need, what we need to know. Let me know what we need to do, because I can go into any of those.
Goodness. I love
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love how you really respect and honor your mom and all your sisters and the legacy that they gave you, and like our grandparents obviously who went before us. And we talk about the experiences we had as kids, and it's not all negative, because I think every stepping stone leads you to where you are now. Because I was talking to last week with Laura, me and Laura DeLauer, and we was talking about Linda and how she gave us this snazzy attitude of, girl, you better not take nothing. You better get it
yeah,
done. And how Aunt Squeak was like, girl, you better do that hair and everything like that. And she was just always encouraging her to do hair. And she was saying that, even though you're a chocolate person, even though you're a dark-skinned Black woman, that you are beautiful. And she was the first
yes,
to her that and reminds her of that. So I mean, I feel like these women have trailblazed for us and left a legacy for us to be able to even have this conversation we having right now, both post education, both higher education, both, doing these great things. Of course, I'm nowhere near your level. You the bomb, and I'm just like living in the world.
you're
But
doing
my
awesome.
thing is, I said all that to say that it's just so good that you give respect and homage to the people who went before you and loved on you and nurtured you and got you to the place that you are now, and that you're not afraid to reach back and do the same, which is what you did for me and my siblings. Like, you reach back and we got to see someone with a degree and doing the things that you were doing, and it's just so cool. I just want to, I want to put that piece in there because it's so cool to leave a legacy. It's so and critical and important that we continue to leave legacy, and that's what I'm doing now. And I'm doing that now because I see you do it. You get what I'm saying? So now I'm in the trenches with my nieces and nephews, trying to mold them and leave legacy for my 10-year-olds and my 12-year-olds and my 13-year-olds, and try to let them know that, you need higher education, that the life is important. You can stand up and be a woman. You can be snazzy and beautiful and cute.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with your kinky curly hair or whatever you bring to the table, no matter what your race is, not to smother or bury yourself, but to continue to be proud of who you are as a woman. So,
Nice. Nice.
legacy just.
Absolutely. I love that, Nora. And I'll just tell you this, I grew up in a space where, when you start crying, you're about to fight. And so the fact that you got me all emotional over here, I don't appreciate it. And because I don't really want to fight anybody, I'm just emotional. And and also when you get into your mid 40s, you just get, real emotional too about things. But when I listen to you, it just makes me proud too that I think about Grandma Mary, and I think about the fact that, which for all of you who are listening, that's my mom's mom and it's Nora's mom's mom. And I just think about a lot of the family gatherings and the foundation that was set for us to be together a lot, and just the love. And no matter what we had or didn't have, we had each other and we still have each other. And I think about the times when I was always invited, didn't have to be invited, but would just come over to your house. And just was just in awe of how your mom ran the house like a system and just had everybody on point, and everybody was going to church, and everybody was getting fed, and everybody was taking care of each other. And just the love and relationship I had with all of you, all the girls, and then especially with Malcolm as my brother. And so it just makes me think of all that as we're talking right now, and all those things you need when you're trying to navigate out here, even at work. You have to remind yourself, oh, I'm somebody's family member, I'm loved. And even if you don't have close family members, because there's been breakdown between you and family, you got at least that one good friend. If you don't, you need to find you somebody who is there for you. So I get emotional when I think about our family and all that we've overcome and we've been through, and the resilience that we still have. And I'm super proud of you, super proud of your sisters. Everybody is holding it down. Still, out here grinding and making things work. And you're a boss as well. So we just gonna boss it on out. So just saying. So and just seeing Shanita the other day, and Laura then hooked her up, got her cute. So,
her all jazzy.
I know. So now I gotta go figure my stuff out. Just saying. So just love our family, and no family's perfect, and we all have our stuff, but at the end of the day, at the core of it all, we'll hurt somebody over our family. And so that's what it's about. But, this talk has been really good, and I'm really glad to be able to contribute to this body of knowledge. And I just want to encourage women out there to be proud of your femininity, be proud of who you are as a person. Always sprinkle, when you're at work, sprinkle a little bit of everything about you into that workspace. Make sure that you carry your legacy with you while you're working on these jobs with these folks who may or may not look like you, because everybody that look like you ain't really you. So just know you have to bring it for them too.
Yeah.
So yes. Yeah. So work all of that. And, there's a necklace that my mom gave me years ago. It's a necklace of Nefertiti. If you can just see that Nefertiti charm there. And I wear this proud. I wear it even when I'm supposed to have on silver. My earrings would be silver, but I wear my gold Nefertiti because I just need for people to see that I'm about this, and I'm about me, and I'm about Blacks and beautiful women of color, and I'm about women in general, and just men who are out here doing it and making things work for their families. And so especially our brothers out here who are holding it down. So in saying that, be true to who you are, no matter what role you're in. Love yourself enough not to be trampled over and treated less than. We in the year of 2020. And so, we've had a lot of ancestors to do a lot of hard things for us already. And so now it's time for you to step into that. And, let's get on out here and have a voice and go vote and, be about the work. And so, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what you said. Go out and be a voice. Let's do the work. It's so much work to be done. It's so many things.
So much work.
Yeah, if you got some talent or you have something that you've been sitting on, I'm encouraging you to get out and do it. Put that to work. Don't let people smother whatever you have. And oh yeah, quickly before we go, can you talk a little bit about what the schools are doing right now as far as like getting us prepared for COVID-19 and how you guys are keeping us safe and a little bit, a little snippet to our parents who may be
Yeah, I'll start off, Nora, by saying I want to give a shout out to all parents out here who are navigating
this.
co-teaching model, this parenting while students are at home learning. I'm one of those parents, and I tell you what, this is not for the weak. Okay, you got to eat your Wheaties and your spinach too on this one. So hats off to all of our mothers and fathers and guardians and various family members who are figuring out Canvas and figuring out, all of the different modalities that your child is learning through, and trying to make sure that the kids get the grades and stuff and everything uploaded. So I want to make sure I shout out all of those who are out here working hard. Some of the things that schools are doing, they're reaching out to families, trying to figure out what more can we do to provide your support. Making sure that, like, if there's an internet issue, we're trying to give out hotspots. If there's a Chromebook issue that got broken, we're replacing those Chromebooks. If there's a need out there as far as some additional levels of support, then we're scheduling times for families to Zoom in with their teachers to get one-on-one supports. And so all those things are happening. And we're also right now, right in the midst of like having decisions and conversations about how we're going to try to get back into the school or not. And so there's just a lot that's happening around that, just listening for information from the CDC, for guidelines, as well as our Tulsa Health Department, and watching the national news, just watching our designation, whether or not we're red or orange 1 or orange 2, and trying to make a decision on that. But we are making ourselves available to help our families and our teachers and our students as much as possible. But it's tough. It's very difficult because these are times that we have not seen before. But again, listening to our families, trying to make decisions differently based on that. If there's concerns about how to navigate different pieces of the technology, we're trying to make those adjustments. If there's questions about attendance, we're working on making some adjustments there. We are connecting with our community partners to make sure, again, hotspots and materials are available and resources are available for our families. And for our support staff members and some of our teachers, we've provided some childcare to in order to help them so that they can actually go to work.
Good. It sounds like you guys are busy and y'all really doing it. And a lot of my ladies in the group, I was talking to them the other day. I asked a question like, how is the learning from home going? And I got all type of crazy emojis. Most people passed out or laid out and stuff. I'm lucky, I only have my 3-year-old and she's in virtual CAP program, but actually this year she didn't get to get in. We got in too late, so I don't have the. I'm just working through you guys and listening to your stories and kind of like prepping. Hopefully, we will not be in this in 2021. I don't know. The pandemic has been all over the place, but I really appreciate that info that you gave on the COVID-19 and how the schools are getting ready. And, hopefully, it'll help some of my parents out there, some of the ladies who've been asking me about it for weeks. But I know you guys are doing the best you can. So hats off to you guys and hats off to you with all the planning I'm sure took in place and you guys long nights staying up and all the teachers that are taking out extra Zoom meetings for students. I was over my sister's house earlier and they were having parent teacher conferences over Zoom and that was about 4:30. So I'm sure she had already worked a full work day and she was coming back in on Zoom to meet with each parent individually. So hats off to teachers. Like you guys are awesome. Teachers are awesome. You guys do an awesome job. I know I wanted to be a teacher when I grew up. I was
Come
actually,
on, come on, come on.
I was trying to come on the school with you, Abby. So, and then I changed my mind. I got into mental health, and I decided to go that route, and so
Yeah,
on a different level with mental health, spirituality. But
which is
I
needed,
wrote
which
at
is
a
great.
I did the practicum. I was actually my senior year of college, and I did a turn. I actually talked with my advisor and I'm like, look, I love the students, but it's just something about the mental health. I want to get to them before they get to the classroom because I feel like
Yes.
learn if you're not mentally well. And so
That's right.
that was my thing. But I always have a heart for the teachers. I wanted to be one because of my second grade teacher. She was just like my little guardian angel.
Oh,
Uh,
oh yeah.
Second grade, so she was like the best teacher ever, and I just wanted to follow in her footsteps. And then I got there, and I was like, oh, I don't like these kids. So,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
but
So,
it was just too much for your girl. So I went a different
well,
direction. But yeah, I have a heart for teachers and a passion for you guys, and uh,
nice.
always for you guys in the education world. So,
Thank
and
you, Nora. We appreciate that. We need all the love we can get. I'll tell you what, our teachers are our rocks out here. Between our teachers, our support staff members, and our principals, they truly hold it down. And so hats off to all of them who are actively working to ensure the students still get what they need during all of this. So thank you for shouting out educators. That means a lot. And just a big shout out to all my former educators who could possibly be listening. Couldn't have been here without you, and I'm super proud to be a Tulsan and a Tulsa Public Schools graduate.
yeah, awesome. And what high school did you graduate from, Ed?
So I graduated from McLean High School in '94.
Yes. Okay. And they were the Scots, right?
We were the Scots. We were the Scots. That's
Awesome.
right. That's right.
Okay, well, I'm so happy you came on, and I know we're getting ready to close, but I really, really appreciate everything, all the knowledge you brought to the ladies, the encouragement, the empowerment. I know I'm walking away feeling empowered, so I know the ladies are too. Um,
Nice.
Hopefully, you can send me a link to some of that information or some links that they can get, whether it's coronavirus or COVID-19
Mhm.
links or anything that you have there. And then any links that we were talking about with the young lady earlier about any discrimination you guys may have felt. We're going to do some research and get back to you guys for you guys to get some help if you are struggling in that area as well. But if you don't have anything else, do you have anything else for us, Ebony? Any last tips?
No, I just want to say thank you so much again, Mrs. Brown, for this fantastic girl talk tonight. And I'm super appreciative of you inviting me. And I'm super proud of this work that you're doing to empower our women. And I see nothing but great things in the future with this. And so glad that God placed it on your heart to do this live chat. So keep it up and let me know how I can help.
Okay, I sure will. All right, ladies, thank you guys so much. And we'll be back, like I said, again next week with another special guest. And I'm so proud of all you ladies for the work that you're doing. I see the comments, I see the emails that you guys send in. I'm getting all of those. I love you. I'm feeling all that love. And just continue to support us. You guys, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and so is Dr. Johnson. You can find her on Facebook as well. So if you guys have questions for her, you can inbox her. I'm not gonna blow you up. Don't blow her up, y'all, at night. She's an educator, so she has to get up early. Thank you guys for joining us, and I hope you guys all have a great night. I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.